This is the Big Woods Bucks podcast. Come explore the big woods and timber in North America with your host, Maine Master Guide and deer tracking expert Hal Blood. Listen to Hal and co-hosts Lee Libby and Joe Cruzy as they unlock the secrets of big woods whitetails. Each episode will provide valuable insights into the tried and true system Hal has used for the last 40 years to scout, locate, and hunt mature big woods bucks. Listen and laugh as the crew discusses Hal's legendary adventures and learn how to apply a lifetime's worth of lessons from the big woods to your own hunting and outdoor adventures.
Welcome to the Big Woods Bucks podcast. I'm your host, Hal Blood, sitting down here at Ireland Lodge again with Joe Cruzy.
Hello.
Bad Lee Libby.
Howdy.
And Good Lee Shands.
Morning.
Got the
Do you want to arm wrestle?
That I would like to see.
We'll have to move this stuff off the table for
All
sure.
right, let's do it.
And on the phone we have Jared Larsen, product manager for onX Maps.
Morning, boys. How are ya?
Doing
Morning.
great. Where do you live?
So I'm out in Missoula, Montana. I actually grew up in Wisconsin and, kind of grew up hunting around the Midwest. And then after school, graduated college with a marketing degree and started applying for jobs and had been using the onX Hunt app for a variety of use cases, snow goose hunting, whitetail hunting back in Wisconsin and Iowa. And applied for a job, got a job, and moved out to Missoula, Montana, and been here for working on 4 years now.
Living the dream, huh?
Yeah, it's not a bad place to call home. I mean, I can still hunt my whitetails, get to chase elk around, still some great waterfowling opportunities, of course, mule deer. So, yeah. Montana really has a lot to offer as far as hunting goes, and, hard to argue the mountains and the rivers.
Yeah, I done a little deer hunting up above you there, up in the Swan River Valley.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, yeah.
How long ago was that?
Oh, I've been there a few times.
68.
You find some good bucks up there?
Yeah, last time I shot a pretty good one. I think it was 3 years ago now.
Has it been that long?
Doesn't seem like, maybe it was 2, but 2 or 3 years ago, I shot a nice 9-pointer there, wide one.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Were you tracking them, or how were you hunting?
Yeah, tracking them, yeah.
He doesn't hunt any other way, Jared.
Well, yeah, I've kind of gleaned that, but I wasn't quite sure. But yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's some dense cover. So I honestly probably quite a bit like Maine.
Yeah,
I've certainly heard some other stories. I don't know if you're familiar with like Remy Warren, but I've heard some stories of him chasing and finding some really big deer in that area. So I guess I better get to it.
Yeah, what I found is the biggest ones, they're hanging back a little higher up. You get in them valleys, and there's lots and lots of deer, but the big ones don't. There's so much road traffic. You got all those logging roads, and most of the hunters, quite frankly, that's what they do. They just ride them roads and try to pick one off in the cuts or something like that. But if you take those horse trails back in and get behind those blocked off logging roads that go way up in the mountains, that's where you'll find the biggest bucks.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that's something I guess I ought to try. I'll have to write that down and start doing a little bit of e-scouting.
Yeah.
So how long have you been with onX, Jared?
So it'll be 4 years in May. And I actually started out on the customer support team, just, helping folks get set up with the app and, get to understanding it and help them utilize it to make the most out of it to hopefully find some more success in the field. And then after doing that for a fall season, I was in that position for about 9 months, moved over to the marketing team. And, today I pretty much run marketing strategy for all things whitetail and then also help out on the waterfowl and turkey side stuff.
Yep.
Right.
We got to all pitch in and get Goodley a smartphone so he can have the app too. He's still got his flip phone from 20 years ago.
Yeah, but I put in a good plug for onX. When I saw the video from the moose hunt from last fall, and Chris used his phone throughout the week. And, yeah, we got some good plugs in there for onX. We got 2 or 3 times where it shows Chris looking into the piece of woods that we're going to go into. So we worked hard for you last fall.
Heck yeah. Well, and if you got buddies with smartphones, all the better. You don't have to adapt to the technological age, and you can still get everything you need done.
Yeah, I was carrying a gun. He carried the phone. I had to carry the gun.
Perfect.
upside
That's
down.
a trade-off I think anyone would take.
Yeah.
So how long ago did onX actually get developed? How long has it been around now?
Yeah, so I believe we're working on year 12, 2009.
Wow.
Our founder, he was actually a hunting guide in Montana, and the issue he came across, with everybody else, was public and private borders just were not marked, especially out here in Montana where he was guiding, and so he just started to scrap together as much GIS data as he could get his hands on, and inevitably built it into a micro SD card that you'd slide into a Garmin GPS unit. And so I think it started with like Washington, Idaho, and Montana were the first 3 states that they gathered data for GPS units. And then, as smartphones really became mainstream and apps were kind of the way of the world in 2015, developed the Hunt app, and that's just kind of catapulted into what we are today.
Yeah, that's been a grind then. I didn't realize it'd been around that long. Of course, I kind of just recognized it when the app came out, and
totally.
When I first saw it, I thought it was just like everything else out there, because there's been apps that have the aerials and the GPS and all that, and it didn't take long to realize it was a lot more than that, and it was definitely the best app out there, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've certainly built it to the point where, we obviously have the robust tool set, but at the end of the day, most hunters aren't the most technologically advanced, savvy folks. A big emphasis for us was just the usability of the product and making it as simple and as streamlined as possible. And frankly, I think we've done a great job at that. And, I always tell folks, if you sit down with the app for 20, 30 minutes while watching television some night and just press every button you can and play around on it, you're going to have a pretty dang good understanding of its capabilities, in a pretty short period of time. If you just get in there and try to break it, you really can't.
We used it. I used it last, it'd be a week ago Thursday, and we were laying out a project in Rangeley, and we couldn't find the property line. And I pulled up the Onex, and we got digging around, and it was only 3 or 4 feet off, which I thought was pretty cool.
I'll take that kind of accuracy.
Yeah. No, it was awesome, and those guys, of course, on the job site, everybody's like, "What's that thing?" And I'm like, "Oh, you got to have it. Don't forget to plug in the Big Woods Bucks promo code, right?" So
yeah,
I probably sold 4 of them there last Thursday, but yeah, everybody on my staff have it now. They just. Some people use it for different things, snowshoeing and hiking and doing whatever, but.
Yeah, and that is the beauty of it. Obviously, we market it towards hunters, but good grief, if you like doing anything in the outdoors, whether it's fishing, camping, hiking, whatever it may be, there's definitely components and layers inside the app that are going to help you just get outside and explore some new country more often.
Yeah, I actually was in a meeting. Not last night before, and we were trying to find the elevation of a pond on a mountain to get gravity-fed water to a subdivision. And I pulled that onX up, and unfortunately the pond was a little lower than the subdivision. But, yeah, it's an awesome tool, really.
We were using it, my dad and I were using it the other day, figuring gravel yardage and what's left in the pit.
No kidding.
We used the property line, went back, and you can take all the dimensions. Then we had the elevation, so you're basically getting your cubic yards.
Yeah.
And, when you know how to use it, I know I'm definitely not an expert with it. I know the line distance and the area stuff the most, but you find that you end up using it a lot. More than just in the outdoors.
I use it more for work than I do in the woods. Yeah, November I use it a lot, but yeah.
Well, I'm glad you boys are finding all sorts of alternate use cases to put her to work.
Wow, that's why we need some more money. I don't know if they told you, but I don't beat around the bush too much, Jared.
Contract time is coming up, so they better throw you in the negotiating.
Yeah, we're sending Badley out to do the negotiation. He's doing a baseball bat.
Yeah,
Perfect.
walk softly and carry a big stick.
Oh,
Well, I finally learned this year, Jared, that I can use the symbols in there to mark there's a symbol for a deer track and a scrape and a rub and all that. I found those this year.
Oh, we got Hal using the custom
Yeah.
icons now, huh?
Yeah.
I think Hal should have a custom icon, shouldn't
Yeah.
he? There should be a
Big Woods Bucks
Big
one.
Woods Bucks for a signpost.
You
Yeah.
got a Big Woods Bucks icon? I can talk to the powers that be and see what we can do there.
I'm going to go for something a little less there. I think just a chaga icon would be good.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to circle back. Well, there is a mushroom icon, but no chaga specific. But so, the last time when we had all those audio issues when I hopped on with you guys went on some, chaga rant, and I was sitting there like, what on earth is a chaga? And, you guys eventually came full circle and explained it to me. And then Chris actually sent me a little bit of his chaga stash, and I've been making a little chaga tea almost daily. That stuff's
Oh,
awesome.
wow.
It's,
First
it's
time
good, isn't it?
Yeah.
The first time I told somebody about chaga, they listened to me for a while, and then they admitted they thought it was like Bigfoot's little sister. They thought it was a critter that lived
Chaga.
out in the woods.
That's a chupacabra.
That's awesome.
Main
But,
Bigfoot, chaga.
That chaga is it's the real deal.
Yeah. I drink mine with maple sugar and a little half and half in it. It's awesome.
Oh, really? Interesting. Just hot water, some maple sugar, chaga, and half.
Yeah, my honey makes it up for me every night. She makes the chaga ahead of time. My wife takes a few chunks of it, and she'll steep up 4 or 5 gallons at a time, puts it in milk jugs, and then brings a gallon at a time upstairs. And then every night she makes us a tea. So she's got the chaga all made, and just puts it in a cup in the microwave with the sugar in it, and then puts a half and half. It's awesome. She actually puts it in that's how spoiled my lab is. She puts it in the dog's food at night. She heats it up, and that's what she uses for water to mix up the dry food with she gets wet food and chia seeds and about 10 other things in her food. But
It's a good idea,
Hey,
actually. I mean, it's
that's a
anti-inflammatory.
well-balanced dog.
yeah,
The
the dog is 7 and still acts like it's 2.
Hey, there you go. Well, obviously the medicinal properties is kind of, what drew me to the chaga after you guys started talking about it. So yeah, it's certainly been interesting, and I honestly should be keeping better tabs on, kind of the benefits that I think I may or may not be getting from it.
Yeah, sure.
But,
So we're going to switch gears here and get into some questions about this. So I had posted on our Facebook page.
yep.
People had questions, so followers and listeners, it's the best way to get your feedback. So we ended up with quite a few comments, with questions about certain things, and so I'm going to start right at the top of that feed and read the questions off and see if you got an answer for them. I'm sure you do. So
yeah, I hopped in there after you told me you guys posted that, and I checked them out. So fire away, and I'll do my best to give you as much insight as I can.
Okay, so the first comment is more map layers would be great. And also I've noticed that some areas where they have chopped last year, which means cut, logged,
Yep.
are not updated. It still shows timber in the area. How often is the imagery updated?
Yeah, so to address the more layers, I'd be curious to know what layers they're interested in and where they're at. Because if you tap on your map layers tab down at the bottom of the app, I mean, you have your My Layers, which are the individual states that you've turned on, or if you just have a premium subscription, it's just your singular state. But then the layer library, especially under the Hunt and Trails and Rec tabs, there's a slew of layers in there that cover nationwide, everything from, CWD distribution as far as current updates with what counties have CWD and how many records of it they have, all the way to, like trail slope layers telling you the slope of trails, to timber cuts on all, I believe it's all federally owned lands, not state owned lands. federally owned lands, we're going to have timber cut data and whether it was a clear cut, a thinning, and it's just kind of like a yellow hashed layer that's going to lay over those areas. So there's a ton of layers in there, but we are always open for feedback. You know, if there's a unique main hunting zone or something that somebody notices we don't have in there, we love that kind of feedback because it's, you know, you guys are the experts on your particular states. You know, we're obviously doing the best we can as far as working with the county and like individual DNRs to help gather as much information as we can to get it in the app. But inevitably, we're definitely missing some components. So we always love feedback. help@onxmaps.com is a great email address to send that to. But then regarding the satellite imagery, so satellite imagery, I saw that was a reoccurring comment in your guys' thread there. So I'll try to address it the best I can. So satellite imagery is obviously incredibly expensive and pretty difficult to source just because the nature of taking satellite images is expensive. And so it's a constant battle that we've been in for the last few years as far as trying to get the most up-to-date imagery, but then, you know, a lot of the comments in there are asking for winter imagery or the ability to see different seasons with the imagery. So a couple things that we're doing is we are working on some interesting opportunities working at a state level to gather satellite imagery. And I can't give away too many details, unfortunately, but we have begun the process of getting much more frequently updated and much more detailed aerial imagery as we've been able to find providers available. So the imagery is kind of at the forefront of our roadmap as far as trying to get the best possible satellite imagery. But currently, you know, our satellite imagery should be anywhere from taken this year, and then the older images can be 3, 4, maybe 5 years old, just based upon, you know, the location.
Yep. You want me to call Elon? We could probably put a camera on one of his satellites.
Hey, if you got Elon on speed dial,
Oh, he calls me
definitely
every
be
day.
helpful.
Every day he's like, Leb, what am I going to do about this? And I'm like, senda.
Yeah,
All right.
I could see that being a, you know, because here, I mean, there's just no way you could ever keep up with the constant changes. They cut too much.
I think they're asking a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
look at Google Earth. I mean, some of that stuff is years old.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Onex has everything you need. I mean,
Pretty much, I think it looks to me like it's pretty much every year. You know what I mean? It seems to me, maybe not every place, but I've seen places that I know they've logged in the wintertime. It won't be up that spring, but by the next winter it'll be up. So, you know what I mean? You might have to wait a year, but I get it. There ain't going to be no way to, every time somebody cuts somewhere, you can't go film it just a couple of people, you know.
right.
Yeah, unless we can tap into that military budget and, you know, somehow finagle a deal with the U.S. government.
Well, you
But
better
I don't
grab it
foresee
now,
that-
'cause
I don't foresee that
you better
coming down the
grab-
pipeline.
You better grab it now, buddy, because it's going to be gone.
All right, so now I'll tell you the names of these people, too, that do it. Reggie, that was Tyler Dorr that asked that. So Reggie Gagnier, he hunted with us last fall, would like to be nice if you could share coordinates with other users on onX via text or with a signal. But I think you can do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, let me tell you, Reggie, that is totally possible. So there's a couple ways to do that. The most intuitive would be if you simply drop a waypoint, and then after you save that waypoint, if you tap on it, there's going to be a little bubble that says share. And you can just tap on that share bubble, and it's going to give you a number of options. You can text it to somebody, you can email it to somebody. Really any type of sharing platform you have on your phone, you can just share that waypoint with any contact. And if they have the Hunt app already, that's just going to dump that waypoint in the exact location that you have it on your map onto their map. It's going to carry over the color you have it, the icon you have it. And like, let's say I shared Hal, some tracks I found when I was out hunting, and he was going to head out the next day. And I changed that icon because I didn't really want to give Hal my good spot. That would automatically update and change the location of that waypoint on the end user's map as well. So it updates automatically. You can share them super easily amongst one another. And then, if you have a hunting buddy relationship that fizzles out, you can actually take that waypoint back from somebody you shared it with. So as the owner of that waypoint, you kind of have control over it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think the way I took it is more of like it would work. Number one, we don't have service everywhere. So if we're out of service, that wouldn't work. But I think the question is more wanting to be more like a Rhino, a Garmin Rhino,
like
where
a buddy tracker.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Yep. So that's something
Says
that we
a
are
signal.
also.
It said the question was with a signal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, a buddy tracker is something that we have on the roadmap as well.
Nice.
As you can imagine, that one's a little bit tricky. Just with a cross-platform from iOS to Android, there's some complications. And then obviously that ability offline gets really complex. But a buddy tracker is something that we have on the roadmap, and hopefully it's here before the 2021 hunting season, but time will tell.
Just so you guys know, I understood everything he said. I'll share it with you after the podcast. I'll try to explain that to you.
Yeah.
Buddy tracker.
The Rhinos had the buddy tracker, but it took like 4 batteries a day to run that thing. And do you really, I really don't care where Joe is.
A consideration,
I'll see him at dinner.
The more stuff you have running on the app in the background, inevitably the more battery it's going to chew up. So certainly a consideration there.
At this point, Hal needs to know, because after he shoots his big buck, he needs one of us to help him drag it. So he's going to need that buddy hat.
Well, I
don't know. Watching that Brutus film, he had a pretty slick, snowmobile drag, it looks like.
It don't happen very often, though.
Yeah. I thought it was funny when you drug it 3 feet and said, "Is that enough?"
Yeah.
I told Hal Skidoo ought to sponsor that clip. That was a really good clip for Skidoo.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually used that share feature last year, if you can believe that, Jared. Some of my guides, I was just things that I had found. I would share that point,
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'm getting it, little at a time. If I do it myself, if somebody tells me how to do it, I can't do it. But if I just go in there and push the buttons and figure it out, I'm pretty good at it. Well, not pretty good, but functional. All right, so the next question is from Darb Noyle. Would love to see some additional. Oh, that's another map layer one. That time of year to pick some makeup of the forest. Yeah. Okay. So that's
We're working on it, Darb.
Yeah, they're working on that. Kevin Bell says, why does it lose a signal when I have the tracking feature on and won't restart the track unless I close the app and reopen it? Only starts where I'm at, not at the beginning of the day. So in other words,
Yep.
you get the gist of what he's saying?
Yep. So the problem there is, when you download an app, especially like a mapping app, or like even if you open Google or Apple Maps, it asks you if you will allow that app to use your location. And usually there's 3 options. Usually it's no, never allow using my location. Yes, allow once, or always allow, this app to use my location. And I'm guessing Kevin probably just tapped the, allow the app to use my location once when he first downloaded it. So in his settings, if he goes and finds the onX Hunt app under his general settings and then allows access for location always when using the app, that should fix that issue.
Hey, this is good stuff. I'm learning something.
Yeah, just because if you only have it allowed to use your location while you have the app open, as soon as you close that app, that basically tells your settings, your privacy settings, like, okay, this app can no longer use my current location. But if you have it as to always allowed, and you slide your phone back in your pocket, it's just going to keep tracking.
Got it. Cool. Ethan Hill says, in Vermont, in order to legally post property, it must be registered with the town. I'm assuming the state has a GIS data layer that could be used on onX of what properties are legally posted. That would be amazing. I don't know how difficult that would be, but
That's going to be a tough one, I would think.
yeah.
Interesting.
Call Bernie.
So is the law there, like, if it's not legally posted, you can rightfully access it?
Yeah, same in Maine.
Interesting.
New Hampshire and Mass are all the same, too.
Huh. See, the only state that I'm really familiar with that's like that is North Dakota, where if it's not posted, you can legally hunt it so long as it's not like standing crops or something along those lines. Yeah, that would be very, very difficult data to acquire.
Because it could change from year to year. And
Right.
Oh, it could change minute to minute. If some guy notices, my property's not posted, and he could go out there and post it the next hour, or, with property changing hands. Yeah, that would be a nightmare of a task.
Yeah, cool.
You could find yourself liable for something.
Exactly.
Really.
Yeah.
We'll stay away.
Yeah.
Stay away from that one, Jared. That's what I'd tell Elon. Yeah, stay away from that one.
Legal counsel by Lee.
Yeah.
So let me just ask you guys. I mean, like, how often do you guys, I guess, put that law to use? How often do you find non-posted lands that you hunt?
Never.
We try to hunt places where there isn't posted land.
Yeah.
In Maine, the further north you go, you
that's
get
what
away
he's-
from it.
That's what he asked, non-posted land. But that's more of an issue like when you get into
Southern Maine.
southern and central Maine with his farm country, some's posted. So if it's not posted, yeah, you can just pull up and have at it, And and quite frankly, it has to be legally posted. It has to be not just posted at the road. It has to be posted around the whole perimeter. I think it's every
50 yards
feet
or
or 50
something.
yards. You got to have a
It's
sign
kinda
or
ridiculous.
or a purple blaze mark. So if that's not there, you wouldn't even know. If it wasn't there, you wouldn't know. I mean, if you
Sure, there's no fences or anything.
Right. Or
Yeah.
if the owners told you verbally,
yeah.
don't stay off, then that's legal.
So in Maine, most hunting is done on. There's very little state land, anyways. It's just little pieces here and there. So in Maine, we're always hunting on private property. Now up north, it's timber company ownership, and it's always been like a open use policy, anyways. But
Sure.
yeah, there's lots of land in southern and central Maine that's not posted, and you're welcome to go hunt there.
Man, I'm shocked. I just find that shocking that the East Coast still has that, and hasn't run into enough trouble with disputes that they have gone away with it. But that's awesome.
Well, we like to call it the conservative Northern Territory.
Yeah, it really is. It's I didn't realize that the states around us were the same way, but it is a really nice thing in Maine.
Yeah.
Obviously more land's getting posted all the time, especially central and southern, but up in the area where we're at here, very, very little land is posted.
Interesting.
I do know of there's a big parcel in Rangeley that's posted. It's like 8,000 acres, but it's not technically legally posted. But there's a sign on the road at the gateway, to get up in there that says this is no hunting. So, and everybody respects it. Nobody goes in there. That's the thing about us outdoors people that I think a lot of people don't understand is that we're not trying to sneak into somebody's posted property just because he missed putting up a sign between two trees. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, is there anything worse than when you're out in the woods and you're constantly looking over your shoulder, or, you have something in your conscience that doesn't feel right?
Right. No, I don't know. So, but I can't imagine it's fun. But I know them guys in southern Maine and other New Hampshire, a lot of them guys turkey hunting and even deer hunting are always trying to get around, and one parcel's posted, but the next parcel's not posted, and it's just got a
Hey, Hal here. Just want to take a minute to talk about the hunting club. And you can join by going right online at bigwoodsbucks.com. But anyways, I've got all my information is going in there. And it's a place where you can get together and look at my films, tips, writings, and all of that. And the best part is there's forums for you to communicate with, the rest of the club members, talk about Bigwood stuff and all of that. So anyways, $36 a year, cheaper than getting a Starbucks once a day. So join up and hope you see you on there. Hey everyone, Hal here. Just want to take a minute to talk about the Woodman Arms muzzleloader. We got them all set on the website to build your own or buy your Bigwoods Bucks model, either one you want to do. But anyways, we've tested it a lot, and I can honestly say it's the most accurate muzzleloader on the market, best to carry in the big woods or anywhere else at 5.5 pounds. You can't go wrong with it. So get on there and check it out. All right, let's move her along here. Glenn Bombardier says, create an elevation highlight feature, much like a fish finder highlights a specific depth to actuate points, saddles, and bumps.
Yeah, I saw that one from Glenn, and he threw in a screenshot there too, which is freaking awesome. I love where his head's at there. I'm going to take that one back to some of our product management and see what kind of possibilities might exist.
Yeah, cool.
Look at there, Glenn. You might get your you might get your wish on that one. That is a good idea too. That's a neat one. I mean, that would be really valuable up here, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm no expert on the engineering side of things, but it seems to me you just have to figure out how to analyze topo lines with some type of computer generated program, which seems like it should be possible.
You just walk out of your office over into the guy across the way, right, and put it on his desk, and then it happens. Is that what happens?
It's more like us marketers are over here in Bozeman, and all the folks that are really using the brain power to make it happen, their salaries afford them to live in Bozeman. So I just gotta send an email over there and get them guys working.
Hey, Biden's going to take care of that. He's going to make them give half of their salary to you.
Hey, Lee.
I'm just stating the obvious.
Isn't Meat Eater based there as well, Jared?
Yep, Meat Eater's also in Bozeman. I mean, Bozeman has kind of become somewhat of an epicenter as far as the outdoor world goes.
Nice.
Oh.
Have you guys noticed a lot of people that follow us follow that Meat Eater guy too?
That Meat Eater guy.
Yeah.
Meat Eater guy.
You mean the most popular
obviously you
outdoor
don't
hunting?
follow him.
No, but I get stuff on my Facebook page all the time talking about it. So I live out in the sticks, Libby. I don't even have cable.
No kidding.
All right, Spencer Minnan wants to know why the satellite images are such poor quality. I use the onX for movement detail, but got to go to Google Maps. I can probably answer that one. I don't think he's downloading it right.
Right.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he isn't saving offline maps and only has 1 bar of service or something, and the map is just barely able to draw. The other thing he could be doing is if he is saving maps and he's saving either the 150 mile or the 10 mile maps, if he wants that better zoom resolution to save the 5 mile maps, just because with the smaller area size, we allow you to go to our most granular zoom level. It takes up a little bit more space in your phone, but if you're one of those guys that really loves to dissect the aerial imagery and zoom in as far as possible, that would be my best recommendation.
Yeah, that's what I do. I always download them in the 5, and then I can zoom down and see a mud puddle in a road somewhere, in a gravel road.
Yeah,
But
I would guess that's the case with it. It's just not.
It takes, I guess, more memory, but all you got to do is, like what I do, like during moose seasons up north, wherever zone I'm going to be in, I'll download all of that stuff. But then I just take it back out so I have enough room to put deer season stuff in. So it's not like you can't put it back in later again,
Yeah, and actually our new saved map experience, the other thing to do as just like a general rule of thumb with the Hunt app is if it's a little glitchy or it doesn't seem to be running at optimal performance, the best two things that you can do for yourself to fix that is check your phone software to see if there's an update for it. So just a lot of times when Apple's software, for instance, becomes outdated on one's phone, an app just doesn't run as optimally as if it were to be updated. So update your phone software, and then also go to the App Store and check to see if there's an update for the Hunt app in specific. And those two things fix the vast majority of problems people have.
Yep, good info. All right, Brandon Refuse wants to know, will Canada be added to the onX? I bought a main map just to use onX in Canada. I absolutely love the app. Wish it was as detailed in Canada.
That is a very timely question. I actually had a meeting yesterday kind of talking about looking into Canada, and we've looked into Canada in the past. In fact, last year, I think I talked to, I don't know, maybe 75 individual Canadians, just kind of canvassing them, seeing what they're currently using for mapping products, specifically apps. The difficulty there, as far as land ownership data being like an international transaction, to no surprise, there's definitely some hoops to jump through. But something we are actively exploring. And of course, you can use the satellite imagery in Canada, as well as, waypoints, the line distance, the area shape. You can use all of the map tools, but we just don't have the land ownership data at this time. But something we are actively exploring.
Right, but they can still get the imagery, right? Because I have 5 mile maps downloaded in Quebec.
Yep.
Yeah, they get imagery. You had your headphones off when he was talking, Lee.
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
Sorry.
All right.
He got scolded.
Yeah. I got
Time to go to the office.
It's my job to keep things rolling. John
Today.
Lamarca wants to know, is there any way to update land boundary ownerships? And he's stating that I know current ownership names. If in other words, if people know that the land has changed ownership, can they submit that to be changed?
100%. So if you find an outdated parcel, and just for some background, we aim to update every single county in the United States once per year. That's always our goal. And we kind of start with where we have the most users, to make sure, we get the Wisconsins, the Montanas, the states with the most onX users, we update first. And then we kind of shuffle through the counties, and we get to almost every county in the United States in the course of a year. So they shouldn't be too far outdated. But if they are, if you simply tap on the map on that landowner, the query card will pull up, and there's an option to report an error. So if you just tap that, you can send a message. It'll go straight to our GIS team, and they'll get that error if you include, who the right landowner is, the updated one, and then just kind of a blurb about, anything that's going to help us explain to find that parcel. Our GIS team gets those errors, and we look into them just as soon as we can.
I noticed a lot of the land ownership, it'll have the boundary, but it doesn't have the actual name of the owner. Is that just a product of the records aren't there? Or is it, well, obviously they're there, but maybe not as easily accessible?
Yeah, so sometimes when you have the boundaries but not a landowner, it could be a variety of things. So again, we collect that data from each individual county, and for whatever reason, some folks request not to have their name show inside of our app. So like, for instance, if Hal didn't want his cabin to say Hal Blood on the onX Hunt app, he could contact us and ask us to remove, the name off of his parcel. And we almost always comply with that. And so that could be the case. But then, as you said, the data just isn't available from the source we're getting it from, where sometimes, the query card will say no information available.
Well, they won't find me because my boundary lines of my property is not even on it, or my name.
Oh, really? Okay.
You going to look into that?
I wonder if it's if if we're not able to collect the data straight from your county and we have to source that county through a third party or something, because there are some counties that they just don't want to play ball with us to give us their GIS data, even though it's public knowledge, public rights, if you will. But as a business, that doesn't quite apply so simplistically. But yeah, there are other counties that also just want like a boatload of cash for us to acquire their data. So we have to get creative and find some other ways to gather that data.
Well, I think other people it's not a county thing here, because my neighbors and stuff and other people in town are on it. It's just not drawn out. There's other boundary lines drawn out, but not mine.
And that's Dennistown, right?
No, it's Moose River.
Okay, so does it? Is it a Moose River issue?
That might be a town issue. I don't know.
I'll have to ask some of our data acquisition specialists and see what they have to tell me on that one, because I'm not positive on why that would be if it shows some of your neighbors but not you.
Yeah, tell them to look up Moose River, Maine.
I'm on it.
I'm on it.
All right, let's see. Reggie Gagney's got another comment. Will they ever change back to the leaf-off satellite maps? Fall, winter, all of that. Why are these so much different than the rest of the state? Well, that's probably a function of when the satellite images are taken.
That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, like, aerial imagery is a huge priority of ours to make sure we improve, that aspect of our app.
Yep. All right. Hang on, Reggie. You'll just have to wait to they get photos in the fall or winter when you want them. Kevin Bell wants to know, if I take it off airplane mode out in the woods, the battery drains almost completely.
Okay. Yeah, I've certainly heard this from some folks, and like anything, it depends on your device. If you're still running around with an iPhone 8, that battery is inevitably going to get eaten up more quickly if you have the tracker on and, you're checking the aerial imagery every few minutes. I don't have any great advice for that one other than keep that phone in airplane mode.
I can tell you one thing, that even though I'm the least technical guy on the staff here, my clients, when I'm guiding people, they use it. And I don't know if this is what he's talking about, but I had a guy last fall, if he kept it in his pack behind him where there was no heat, it would zip right through the battery quick. But if he kept it inside his shirt pocket close to his body heat, he didn't have any trouble. It lasted all day. So maybe what he needs to do is keep it someplace where it's going to be warm, because if it's in his pack away from body heat, it'll drain it 3 times as fast.
Yeah, that's great advice. I mean, just like anything battery powered, if it gets cold, it's not going to go well.
Yeah, I think something else as well is if you're out of service and don't have an airplane mode, it's constantly searching, and that wears the battery down as well.
Yeah, I never have any trouble. Right. I don't even take it off airplane mode, and I run mine's on all day, and I don't even burn half the battery out of my phone.
Yeah, I can't say I've had battery issues with mine either.
All right. Glenn Bombardier again, another comment. Move the 2D, 3D toggle. I always hit it by mistake.
Oh, Glenn, you, me, and everybody else in the country, that is something we are on top of. That 3D button should be moved here pretty soon.
All right. Let's see. Travis Shine, can you link to other account holders to share locations?
It was the same.
It's the same thing. That's repetitive. That would be like sharing a pin, just text it over.
And one cool thing we are working on is the ability to share multiple markups. So as it stands currently, you got to kind of share one waypoint at a time. But we are working on the functionality where, if I wanted to send 30 waypoints, I could just group them all together, hit send once, and all 30 of them would go. So we are working on some more intuitive things for sharing. If you're sharing a lease or hunting with a few close buddies, or in your case where you're all guiding together, so that should definitely help.
Yep. So Tony Ciccolone, I think that's how I pronounce it, but
it sounds like something you'd eat tonight.
Tony, if I massacred your name, I'm sorry. And it's another like repetitive comment. It's map layers of timber cuts, and we all know it's just a matter of, it just takes time to get those images up, so it's not going to be instant.
Yeah, and I think we do have what he's talking about. If Tony, if you go into your map layers and then find the hunt tab, we do have a map layer of timber cuts. Again, it's only on federally owned lands. It's not going to be on state-owned lands, but that layer is in there.
Yeah, it wouldn't help him out here if he's from out east because there isn't really any federal land. But
Gotcha.
Okay, Eric McVetti, I have a question: is why is onX inaccurate when it comes to private land? And so I think we just went over all that. I think you explained that, you can only have what you're given by the counties, I guess, right?
Yep. I mean, I would need some more details as to what he's finding inaccurate. I mean, if he's talking about the boundary lines or the ownership, I mean, if you find that, and once in a while you will, like you'll see a boundary line that's very clearly a few feet off. Like, for instance, you'll see some that once in a while will go like across a highway, and it's just like very clearly that boundary line in the transfer of data from the county into our app. It might shift 10, 20 feet one direction or another, which again, if you just tap on that report error and just make us aware of that, that's something that's pretty easily fixed.
All right. You have to send that in, Eric. Andy Heath, will this app be able to be used on Apple or Android CarPlay?
CarPlay. It is not currently available in that way. I'm assuming he's talking about, he kind of has an LCD screen in his dash and he wants to be able to use the app on there is kind of the assumption I'm getting, which would be super cool. I will have to talk to product management again there and see if that's anywhere in the works. It's not something I'm aware of, but that would be handy.
Roadrunner?
Yeah, and his other he had two questions. He would like to see UTM locations able to be typed in to share locations. I've had other people ask about that. It's kind of like on a GPS you can do that. You can type in the coordinates and share it that way, but I don't really know what the advantage to that would be when you can just share the pin over, right?
Yeah, so there are a couple options there, and basically, if you go, so at the top left corner of the onX Hunt app, there's a hamburger menu with like the 3 stacked bars. If you tap on that and then go down to your map settings, we have it defaulted to give you coordinates in decimal format, but you can change that to degrees, minutes, seconds, or UTM parameters. And then if you do that, and you simply tap anywhere on the map, again, that query card is going to pull up and it's going to have the coordinates there. And there's actually a copy option right next to the coordinates. So you can just tap that copy. And the only thing I really use that for would be, let's say I'm going to a location I've never been before. And I'll sometimes like just tap that copy coordinates, go into like Google Maps to get turn-by-turn directions, and then, paste the coordinates into that search. And then I can just, get turn-by-turn directions to an area. But all of that is possible.
Did you get that good, Lee?
I did. I'm on it. I'm gonna. If they have any trouble with that, just tell them to give me a call.
Yeah. So I guess you can already do that, Andy. So just try to figure it out.
Yeah, the standard and metric, there's all the conversions there on that menu when it drops down as well, which I've had to change a couple times.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there's people that, really like to go by township section range, which we also have in the app. If you go, that's in the hunt layers, you can turn sections on, and then you can get township section range if that's more your style as well.
Seems like there's a lot of stuff in there people aren't finding. Like you said, I guess they better start tapping buttons and just try to see what else is in there. All right, Reggie Gagney's got another comment. Why do you need to have a Cello Wi-Fi signal to log in? I logged off in an area without a signal and couldn't log back in offline.
Yeah, just like anything, whether you're trying to log into Gmail, onX, or any other app you have, you got to be able to connect to the servers to identify your login credentials. So unfortunately, there's not going to be a way around that one. My best advice would be don't be logging out of your app while you're hunting.
Right. Reggie, I could have answered that for you.
Hey guys, Joe here. Wanted to take a few minutes to talk about Lake Parlin Lodge. We're a 4-season lodge located just south of Jackman. We've got cabins, lodge rooms, mini lodge. We're a big snowmobile destination in the winter, full restaurant, bar, all the amenities that you need for your trip. Open all obviously through the summer, right on the lake. Kayaks, canoes, all included with the cabin. We also do a lot of weddings, so if you're looking for a destination wedding, we can do a wedding up to 200 people. And, of course, we've got our hunting season, moose season, deer season. So check us out. We're at lakeparlinlodge.com.
Andrew Madison wants to know, will there be any features to create folders to sort waypoints? I'd like to sort and only see the waypoints I use for turkey hunting or just the ones for deer hunting, then clicking them all individually. Yeah, that's a
Absolutely love where your head's at, Andrew. And yes, it's coming.
all right.
I can almost guarantee it'll be here before 2021 fall.
All right. Just made Andrew happy.
It's my goal.
All right. Geez, we're learning a lot on this. All right. John Netto, how come in some towns like Turner, which is a town in central Maine, no longer does it give details like owner of the lot and lot size?
Yeah, so that goes back to, the data we're getting from counties. And with the amount of folks that have questions about this, I'm definitely going to ping somebody from our data acquisition team and see what might be going on in Maine.
All right. Glenn Bombardier's got another comment. Have the ability to edit waypoint coordinates.
Edit waypoint coordinates. So it sounds like he's just trying to move the waypoint.
That's what it sounds like to me. I don't know.
Yeah, so that would be my guess, which if you have a waypoint and if you just tap on it, it's going to give you an edit option. And then after you've tapped edit, if you tap elsewhere on the map, it's going to move that waypoint for you. So super simple.
Glenn, I'm surprised you couldn't have figured that out.
Oh, man.
Hal
I
going
wish
after
Hal
the
was
listeners.
answering these questions. This would be way more entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Not
tick
quite
him
as
off.
informative, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Glenn's one of our better listeners. We don't want to disenfranchise him.
Yeah. He won't. I know him pretty well.
He's a good guy.
Aaron Falwell, how can I view in winter mode? We already went over that one.
I wish it was
Winter
that
mode.
simple just to switch to winter.
Yeah.
Download some snowflakes on your
seem to
screen.
need
Or something.
Yeah. We need to get you guys some winter imagery.
Yeah, just snowflakes. That'd be so pretty.
Yeah.
I think would they do the satellite imagery? Is there any reason why? Because I really can't. I've got some springtime. I know the ice is like an April shot, but I don't know if I recall seeing winter shots
No, there hasn't been. I've
on
seen
any
it-
satellite imagery.
Yeah, you're right. I've seen a few that look like spring where there was patches of snow and the ponds had ice and stuff, but that's about it.
Well, any of you boys fly airplanes? Got a good camera?
Yeah, Joe does.
Joe
That's
does.
that's a lot of picture
Joe, get
taking.
yourself in the air.
You ain't
Get
got
us some
nothing
winter
else to do.
imagery from Maine, and we'll work out a deal.
All right,
Oh,
I'm on
a
it.
deal. I heard that word.
Yeah.
I think Jared said Onex is going to pay me to fly.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
what I heard.
That's what I heard.
If you get us some creme de la creme imagery, we could maybe work something out.
All right, I'm on it.
All right, Alec Hodgetts. Different seasons for the satellite image. Yeah, that's repetitive.
Did you read all these yet, Hal, or are you just
Are you
winging
just going
it right
through
now?
this?
Yeah, I've read them, but I forgot some of them.
You read them
I
this
got other
morning?
things. I got other things on my mind. Lloyd McCormack, are there any plans to be able to see your hunting partner's locations on the map, much like
Will
the
you
rhinos?
stop, Lee? Take the computer away. It's the third
It's
time
coming,
you've asked
Lloyd.
a
It's
question.
coming.
It's coming.
I still
How
love
can
it.
I-
Well, hey, we know it's a popular sentiment anyway. That's
Yeah.
what people want to see, so that'll be good once it comes out.
Stephen
Yeah.
Talcott, how can I enter longitude and latitude into one. That's in that edit, right?
Yeah. So I think what he's getting at is like he has a set of coordinates that he wants to search and find on the map. Which at the top right of the screen, if you're inside of the app, there's a little magnifying glass search icon. So if you tap that, there then becomes a location search or landowner search. So if you want to search coordinates, just tap location, input those coordinates, hit search, and it'll bring you right to that point.
Nice. All right. Got that, Steven? Have fun. Corey Guy wants to know, what's the best device to use onX on?
You know, we get that one a lot. And frankly, the newer of a smartphone you can get, the seemingly better it works. No surprise. You know, they're just, as with any company, they want you to have the latest and greatest. So they, optimize the performance on those devices. So, if you're due for a new phone and you can make it happen, I would say any of the newer Android or iOS devices would be the way to go. A couple ones that I would not recommend would be like Google Pixels. For whatever reason, seem to have more issues than other brands of phones. And then any Windows phone, I would not recommend any Windows phone at all.
All right. Another comment from Keith Baker about winter imaging. We already beat that one up. And the final one, it's Alex Hodgett again. I would like my onX to show all of Hal's waypoints, please.
Well, we can make that one happen. Hal, just let me know your password, and I can open the floodgates.
Yeah. Mine are all in code, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's your code?
They're not. No, not my passwords. All my onX points, they're in code. Nobody'd be able to decipher them.
Encrypted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're all locked away in my own mind, and nobody's ever going to get there.
I say we sell
And that's
10 waypoints a year, and we just pick spots on the map and tell everybody that's Hal's favorite spot.
Yeah.
If it's in his mind, that's a rabbit hole we don't want to go down.
That's right.
The way Hal gives up everyone else's spots, I mean, why don't we just...
Wow, Hal,
him
you're
out.
taking a beating. I didn't mean to start that. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Thanks, Lee.
That was rough.
Start calling you the bad Lee. Well, this has been pretty informative for us.
Yeah, I appreciate all of the questions that your listeners had. That was awesome. And, very clear that we need to work on better imagery for you folks up in the main big woods up there.
That's very clear to me, too.
Yeah.
I will pass that feedback along, and we'll see what we can get scheming up on.
Sounds good.
Cool. When you're coming up
so
to track
tell me,
a deer.
I just want a quick recap of your guys' season there, because Hal, I know when I was talking to you, a little bit earlier, you guys said you'd had some really tough snow conditions, and you guys just hadn't been getting the snow in time for deer season there to get on some good tracks.
Yeah, it was pretty rough this year. We'd get some snow, and usually in the high elevations, and then it would go off, and we'd get a little more, and it wasn't the best year if you were a tracker to, try to get things done. You had to get out there. If there was an inch of snow, you'd want to be out that day and trying to make hay of it, But
Okay.
Overall, the guys we had on another podcast, we talked about, the guys on the team having a good year despite that. And then we actually forgot even a couple more guys that had shot buck. So I would say
Who'd we miss?
we missed Bo Babbitt.
Oh.
Yeah, we missed Bo on that one.
What about Roger when he went with Steven during muzzleloader
Oh, yeah, we got
season?
that. We got those at the end. But I think probably most everybody on the team shot a buck this year somewhere. Ben shot one in Mass at the end, yeah. Bad Lee didn't get to hunt. He had too much work backed up.
COVID. I got the COVID.
Yeah, Lee got the COVIDs.
You want to buy some of my blood? I heard it's savior.
Happy to hear you made it through and you beat the Rona there, Lee.
Yeah, it really wasn't that big of a deal, but I hear some people ain't doing so well.
Yeah.
Badly said that bourbon's the best thing to do to get rid of it.
Yeah, bourbon, Tito's,
Yeah.
no chaga.
You're telling me chaga isn't a cure-all for that?
No. But my chaga, nobody asked what I put in my chaga, and that's Bailey's.
So, well, we got some on the ball followers here at Big Woods, don't we?
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. I'm stoked to hear that you guys have laid some good inroads to the onX Hunt app up in the Northeast there, and got some boys trying to track deer using the Hunt app. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really appreciate your time today, Jared. And it probably wasn't the most convenient time today, but thanks for coming on and fielding the questions with us.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate you guys having me on. I love doing this type of stuff, and if I can help some folks be a little bit more successful in the field at the end of the day, that's kind of the mission here at onX, is to empower folks to get outside, get exploring, and get more time hunting.
Well, you definitely make it easy for everybody,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, we appreciate that, and I'm stoked to have you guys on board. It's been a fruitful partnership for us, and one of these days I've been telling Chris that I'm going to drop into Maine, and we're going to have to pick up a track together, because I don't know the first thing about it, but I watched that Brutus film, and I was pretty much gripped for the entire 33 minutes. I mean, it was I think Will Altman did a great job behind the camera there, and it was just super entertaining to follow Hal. And I mean, there was a lot of educational points to pick up throughout the video there on your guys' style of hunting, which is just absolutely foreign to me. And I think there's a lot of folks like myself that, you know, whether they grew up, you know, tree stand hunting or doing deer drives or whatever it may be, you know, tracking isn't what I grew up doing, and kind of just has that unknown allure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different deal. Hey, did you share that over to your onX page yet?
Hey, speaking of the onX page, I'll hit up the social guys and get them to get Brutus up there for you. But I would like to tell you that Brutus, that picture of you, I think it's probably you at your cabin, and you got him hung up there, and the deer is all of you plus some. That was actually our most liked and most engaged post that we posted all of 2020.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Look at that.
So, I mean, people ate that one up, and it was, it was just a very interesting perspective, you know, with that size of a buck. So, yeah, that was a cool photo.
I think that one did good with lacrosse as well.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the other one that went on?
Yeah, Lee's got dollar signs in his eyes. Cha-ching.
Oh,
Jeez. That's all I can hear.
You guys, don't listen to a word they say, Jared.
Hey, I love it. I love getting their eyes off them.
Hey folks, don't forget to use the discount code BWB for 20% off any new onX memberships.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Till next time, good luck on the trail.